Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Plotlines. Today is St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's great to be Irish on this day. And of course, my first name screams Irish. My last name screams Irish. So it's a good day to celebrate being Irish. And I want to put forward a argument, a sort of a debate that I'm not going to necessarily say I'm not going to tell you that one is the best versus the other, though I do consider one more apt than the other. And we're going to talk about that today, whether you should wear green or blue on St. Patrick's Day. I personally think you should wear blue. Blue seems more apt, and here's why. The oldest depictions of St. Patrick was wearing blue. It's sky blue, so that so not a deep blue necessarily, or not a darker blue, but sky blue. And so it's the earliest depictions, as well as there's the Order of St. Patrick, which is a chivalric order, which also uses the sky blue as the color of its symbol. It also dates back to an old depiction of a woman dressed in a blue robe. So, in some sense, it's a baptizing of a pagan tradition, which I think is beautiful. So, St. Patrick, in some sense, represents that the baptizing of Ireland, and him wearing blue makes a lot of sense. There are a number of icons and depictions of St. Patrick as blue. I know there are nowadays many more that depict him wearing the color green, and that's really come out of a sort of a knowing the knowing Ireland as the Emerald Isle, which I think is beautiful imagery, and I don't think that should go away by any stretch of the imagination. But I also think that because the modern Irish flag is and orange and green with white in the middle, and sort of unifying the Protestants and the Catholics, I think, and the green has become sort of a nationalistic symbol. I think it's best to go back to the blue. The older flags of Ireland were a harp with a blue background, a blue field behind it. I think that is much more adequate. It shows more of a pointing back to St. Patrick more than it does to sort of the natural color of the island. I think, in some sense that's more pagan because you're looking to identify with the color of the land versus the saint in many ways. Though I know that the other argument would be is that St. Patrick used the shamrock to teach the Trinity, and that's a useful example to look back on. And shamrocks are green, so therefore I use green. And I don't know, liturgical colors, green is still a liturgical color. Blue is not so much exactly, though it often is. It usually refers to Mary. The Spanish priests had the ability to celebrate with blue vestments, and Our Lady usually has sort of uh, blue, blue and white, or white with some blue on the vestments. So it references Our Lady as well, which is also a bonus, I think. And also, it just seems to me that the sort of revolutionary spirit in Ireland, the moving against tradition, the moving against Catholicism, is actually symbolized by the green, white, and orange flag. The orange representing the Protestants, and the green representing this nationalistic spirit, and believing itself to be different from the rest, and not knowing its place in the Catholic Church. It reminds me a little bit of the Gallican Church of of France. It also dates back to um, a depiction in France where blue represented the King of Ireland as well. So we've got all of that going for us historically. Historically, green, it was not as prominent. The first depictions of Saint Patrick clothed in in blue were from the 13th century. So I think there's a big argument to be made that blue is best. Again, wear green, it's fine, I guess. But if you want to be a counter revolutionary, maybe, if you want to fight against the norms, if you want to draw people back to the good, the true, and the beautiful, maybe it's best to wear blue. Now I'm going to read this prayer from St. Patrick's breastplate to end the video, and I really wish all of you a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. I bind myself today the strong virtue of the invocation of the Trinity. I believe the Trinity in the unity, the creator of the universe. I bind to myself today the virtue of the incarnation of Christ with his baptism, the virtue of his crucifixion with his burial, the virtue of his resurrection with his ascension, the virtue of his coming on the judgment day. I bind to myself today the virtue of the love of seraphim, in obedience of angels, in hope of resurrection unto reward, in prayer of patriarchs, in predictions of prophets, in preaching of apostles, in faith of confessors, in purity of holy virgins, in deed of righteous men. I bind to myself today the power of heaven, the light of the sun, the brightness of the moon, the splendor of fire, the flashing of lightning, the swiftness of wind, the depths of sea, the stability of earth, the compactness of rocks. I bind to myself today God's power to guide me, God's might to uphold me, God's wisdom to teach me, God's eye to watch over me, God's ear to hear me, God's word to give me speech, God's hand to guide me, God's way to lie before me, God's shield to shelter me, God's host to secure me against the snares of demons, against the seductions of vices, against the lusts of nature, against everyone who meditates injury to me, whether far or near, whether few with many. I invoke today all these virtues against every hostile, merciless power which may assail my body and my soul, against the incantations of false prophets, against the black laws of heathenism, against the false laws of heresy, against the deceits of idolatry, against the spells of women, smiths, and druids, against every knowledge that binds the soul, against every knowledge that binds the soul of man. Christ, protect me today against every poison, against burning, against drowning, against death, wound, that I may receive abundant reward. Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ within me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ at my right, Christ at my left, Christ in the fort, Christ in the chariot seat, Christ in the poop deck, Christ in the heart of everyone who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks to me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. I bind to myself today the strong virtue of an invocation of the Trinity. I believe the Trinity in the unity, the creator of the universe. I think that's very beautiful. And thank you all for watching this or listening to this. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. And if you're on a podcast app, please leave a review. a 5-star review and tell me what you think about the show. Thank you all for watching. And also, if you would like to join the Discord, thank you all. Bye.